Hello friends, I am Manoj Kumar Singh, Assistant Professor in Commerce at Jaipur Panchananda College, Howrah, affiliated to the University of Calcutta. I am a participant of online refresher course in Commerce and Management organized from 7th day of September 2020 to 20th day of September 2020 by UGC Human Resource Development Center of Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. I am going to deliver my presentation on conflict management, dealing with conflict at work. Before we discuss conflict management, let us have a look at conflict at first. What is conflict? According to Wall and Callister, conflict is a process in which one party perceives that its interests are being opposed or negatively affected by another party. It is a situation wherein the interest, needs, goals, or values of involved parties interfere with one another. In the workplace, conflicts are common and inevitable. Conflict refers to some form of friction, dispute, disagreement, discord arising from employees within an organization. Conflict exists when agreements lead to disagreement or struggle between people with competing ideas and or personal interest. Then the cause of or sources of conflict are difference of opinion. There may be some difference of opinion on certain matters which may turn into conflict. Again, dissatisfaction with working conditions or remuneration. It is obvious that dissatisfaction and working conditions or remuneration lead to conflict. Third one is excessive workload. Again, one employee may have or may face heavy workload which may turn into conflict. If an employee is hardworking and giving the organization his best, but the higher authorities pay no attention to him or his promotion, then conflict may arise. Perception of discriminatory or unfair treatment may cause conflict. Many a time it is seen that people suffer from insecurity of various kinds and fear of redundancy, consequently giving rise to conflict. There may be communication gap among the parties, or some communication may be misinterpreted, which may lead to a conflict. There may be clashes of personality or differing expectation for the cause of conflict. The list is larger. All these are indicative only. Here, now a question arises, is that whether conflict is good or bad. Conflicts are not necessarily destructive, and research has shown that constructive conflict management is possible. It can be both good as well as bad for an organization. There are three viewpoints. The traditionalists view conflict as bad and try to avoid it. The followers of human relations school opine that conflict is natural and can be functional at some times and dysfunctional at other times. The integrationists view conflict as inevitable and stimulating. Conflict to some extent is helpful. Conflict is viewed as a positive force except when it is misdiagnosed, mismanaged, or improperly avoided. So, what are the characteristics of conflict? It is also called a process because it begins with one party perceiving the other to oppose or negatively affect its interest and end with competing, collaborating, compromising, or avoiding. Conflict is inevitable. Conflict exists everywhere. No person are the same. Hence, they may have individual differences, giving rise to some sort of conflict. Again, individuals, groups, and organizations have unlimited needs and different values, but limited resources. Thus, this incompatibility is bound to lead conflicts. It must be perceived by the parties to it, otherwise it does not exist. One party to the conflict must be perceiving or doing something the other party does not like or want. Conflict may occur when an individual, between two or more individuals, groups, or between organizations. It comes into different ways in accordance with the degrees of seriousness and capacity. Now, let us discuss what is conflict management. Conflict management is the process for handling disputes and disagreement between two or multiple parties. The goal of this system is to minimize the negative factors that are influencing the conflict and encourage all participants to come to an agreement. Successful conflict management results in a mutually beneficial outcome that's agreed upon by each party. In the process, it is the process of limiting negative aspects and increasing the positive aspects of conflict. Now, it comes to conflict management style. It is the process of limiting negative aspects and increasing the positive aspects of conflict. Then the styles are, first of all, competing, or it is also known as forcing. An individual firmly pursue his or her own concerns despite resistance from the other person. This may involve pushing one viewpoint at the expense of another or maintaining firm resistance to another person's action. The second one is confronting the problem or problem solving. Collaboration involves an attempt to work with other person to find a win-win solution to the problem at hand, the one that most satisfies the concerns of both parties. The win-win approach sees conflict resolution as an opportunity to come to a mutually beneficial result. Compromising, it is also known as reconciling. Compromising looks for an expedient and mutually acceptable resolution which partially satisfies both parties, also known avoiding or withdrawing, also known as avoiding. This is when a person neither pursues their own concern nor those of their opponent. He or she does not address the conflict but sidesteps, postpones, or simply withdraws. Smoothing or accommodating. Smoothing is accommodating the concerns of other people first rather than prioritizing one's own concern. All these are conflict management styles. Now come to conflict management model. We see here that assertive, non-assertive in the vertical area and non-cooperative and cooperative on the horizontal area, where we all together all the styles of conflict management are incorporated, where we find competition, collaboration, avoidance, accommodation, or in the middle it is found that compromise. If we add all those things to some extent, this will result in compromise. That means we have to say or sacrifice something for the sake of the goal of the organization. Now we move on to conflict management techniques and best practices. First of all, be aware of conflict. What an HR manager should see, that he should be aware of the conflict. How they can know that there is conflict? This may be seen from the behavior of the employee or the group or the party. Second one is, take a considered and rational approach to conflict. Then you have to investigate the situation and decide how to tackle the conflict. Let everyone have their own say. Do not forbid one party to say and allow other to say. Identify options and agree on a way forward. Implement what has been agreed. Evaluate how things are going. Consider preventive strategies for the future. Now, types of conflict and how to address them. The first of the three types of conflicts in the workplace is task conflict. Often involves concrete issues related to the employee's work, assignments, and can include disputes about how to divide up resources, differences of opinion on procedures and policies, managing expectations at work, and judgments and interpretation of facts. The second of the three types of conflict is relationship conflict. Arises from difference of personality, style, matters of taste, and even conflict style. And the third one is value conflict, which can arise from fundamental differences in identities and values, which can include differences in politics, religion, ethics, norms, and other deeply held beliefs. What strategy should a HR follow? Here is the list. Forget about winning or being right. Don't look for a person to blame, look for a root cause. Name your emotions before meeting. Collaborate with other party on how to handle conflict. Keep your conversation goal oriented. Meet face to face. Legitimize and echo their feelings back to them. Find an opportunity to admit you were wrong or what you could have done better. Focus on behavior, not personality. Communicate the takeaways and apply learnings for next time. Create space for conversation and have open channels to address conflicts. That's all from my side. I, Manoj Kumar Singh, an assistant professor in commerce at Jaipur Panchananda College, Howrah, affiliated to the University of Calcutta, thank from the core of my heart to UGC Human Resource Development Center of Gujarat University, Ahmedabad, for providing me an opportunity to join online refresher course in commerce and management. Thank you all.